What's up, everybody? Mark with Coffee&Toys here, bringing you another action figure unboxing and review. So we got a good one today. It's strays outside of my normal wheelhouse of, G.I. Joe Classified, wrestling, Motu. This is one a line I've recently started collecting that is growing very quickly. Now, of course, if you know the channel, you know that I am a huge Batman fan, and that I have recently started delving into the McFarlane series of toys. Of course, McFarlane is just able to push out figures just wave after wave after wave. And of course, I saw this today at my local GameStop, and I figured I would go ahead and pick it up, do a review on it. Of course, we have the Batman and Spawn DC Multiverse 2-pack. Let's talk about it. So, like I said, I'm a huge Batman fan. I'm also a huge Spawn fan. I liked Spawn back in the early 90s when he first came out. I collected a few issues. And he's always been kind of in my mind, a character that is really cool, but I just never really got super deep into. Now, I know for a fact that Batman and Spawn teamed up in the early 90s in a miniseries, and I don't know how that went, but it looked really cool. I remember being a young kid thinking, man, I need to pick that up, and for whatever reason, I never did. Let's see. At the time, I would have been like 12, 13 years old. But I've recently read that they are either have teamed up again or going to be teaming up again very soon, and that's kind of where I think this 2-pack originated from. So I saw it on the shelves, and I said, this will be cool. I've got some Spawn figures. I've obviously got some Batman figures. McFarlane Toys does an excellent job with their figures. Of the ones I've owned, they all seem very good. So I was really interested in picking up this set. I did pick it up, like I said, from GameStop. It was, I think, $50. So, $25 a figure, that seems to be about right. And I did have like a $10 off coupon or something like that. So it made it a little bit cheaper, and it was worth picking up. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the figures in the box, and we're going to discuss it. We're going to see what, it's all about. And then if you're not familiar with the channel, obviously we unbox the figures, and then we, accessorize them. We compare them when I give you my final thoughts on whether I think this is something that is a good pickup or whether it's something I recommend you passing on. So with that being said, I'm going to take a sip of coffee. You're going to go ahead and drop a like on this video because that really helps out the channel, and I appreciate it. And now we're going to go over and see what this Batman Spawn 2-pack is really all about. Okay, here we have it. DC Multiverse Batman and Spawn, based on comics by Todd McFarlane. And of course we have the Batman symbol over here, and on the right side we have the Spawn symbol as well. Ages 12 plus, indicating this is a collector's action figure / toy, not a toy for kids. There are small parts, and of course it's, that's being said. So of course it's got that beautiful display, so if you really wanted to, and I apologize for the glare, it's but as you can clearly see, you've got Spawn and Batman. Batman more in his dark, I almost said his Dark Knight outfit, but in his dark black and gray with the classic yellow Batman symbol, Batman utility belt, and of course Spawn being Spawn, reds and blacks galore with the green eyes. So spinning it around, there's nothing really too much on the side. It just says Batman and Spawn, but on the back we have this very, very nice artwork done of both Spawn and Batman moving throughout Gotham's twilight hours. And of course you can see Spawn with his chains, and you can see Batman with his grapple rope. And just looking very cool. This is a very nice display. And of course, again, we get the DC Multiverse logo. So yeah, and on the other side we have Batman and Spawn, based on comics by Todd McFarlane. So really that's about all there really is with the packaging. So I think give me a few minutes and I'll get these guys out of the box, and we'll look at each figure individually and go from there. Okay, here we go. We have Batman and Spawn out of the package, and first impressions are the Spawn is super cool. He's actually he's setting so much forward because his cape is not very flexible, and it's pushing him off away from the wall. So these are substantial figures. Batman's actually very large himself. So I guess we'll just start with Batman. And if you've seen any of my other videos, or even if you're not familiar, I'll go through it anyway, is, these figures are a fine line between having posability and kind of being statues. They're kind of stiff, but they do have joints. Of course, they have double pinned elbow joints on the Batman. He does have a waist articulation that is, it does move, and he has he does turn at the waist a little bit, but it's kind of tight. He does have some movement in the head, but again, you can hear it possibly. It's very tight. Shoulder articulation is limited by his oversized cape, so really he can only get about this far. And this is just a scary looking Batman with the extra long earpieces on the cowl. And just, you know, I would not want to run into this particular Batman, this version of Batman in the night. So, of course, he has articulation at the wrist. He does have some drop-down hips. Mine actually came out of the package kind of like that, so I just pushed it back up in there. He does have double-jointed pinned knees. He does not have articulation at the boot, but he does have articulation at the feet and the toe. So, as you can see, here's a close-up of the old Bat's face, so you can see it. You know, got some red in those cheeks, and of course the white eyes. Of course, we have that beautiful Batman logo. And of course that utility belt. Got a little bit of paint apps happening right there on the trunks, but that's okay, nothing big. And yeah, and you spin around, of course you have this huge oversized cape that has some cuts in it, so to speak, but can't really do anything with it. It's very bulky, and it's that rubber plastic material. So of course, and then his gauntlets do have some slight warpage, but nothing too major. So there's Batman. So let's move over to Spawn now, who is looking very cool. So Spawn has similar articulation, but again, it's going to be hampered by the cape. He does have double jointed elbows, but they are pinned. He does have articulation at the wrist. Of course, there's his head. I will zoom in so you can get a nice good look at that sculpting. And it's very good. The sculpting is, you know, to the nines with McFarlane Toys. I mean, they really make these things look like they've jumped off the comic book page. And of course, he has all these crazy gauntlets and spikes all over. They're actually sharp. The gauntlet, if you've ever had a McFarlane Spawn figure, every spike on a Spawn figure is sharp. Like, sharp enough that it hurts if you get poked by it. So, of course, he has the same articulation at the waist as Batman. Again, he's hampered. He can't really move his hands up too high because of the cape, as I mentioned. He does have the double-jointed knees, which I believe are pinned. Yes, there they are. But you can actually, you know, you can bend them and do whatever you need to do to make your Spawn extra cool. And he does have articulation at the foot. Again, very, very tight. You can hear those joints popping. He does have the articulation in the toe, yes. And of course, he's very, if you know Spawn, he's very asymmetrical about, you know, his armor. And of course, you can't really do much with this. This foot is articulated left and right, I believe. You just, ouch. See? He's actually got a sharp piece of plastic on his toe right there. Some flash that didn't get removed. But yeah, it's articulated, but really you can't do a whole lot with it because of this armor. Spinning him around to the back, so of course you can see how cool the cape looks. I mean, like Batman's, it's kind of, you know, cut up and made to look this way, but even more so because it's Spawn. It's got that beautiful black wash mixed in with the red. And yeah, I mean, he's a great looking Spawn for your collection if you're a Spawn collector, I think. Of course, he comes with more. This package comes with more than just the figures. We do get some accessories, and before I jump into the accessories, I guess these are accessories, but you do get a trading card of both Batman and Spawn within the package. So I'll give you a second to look at those. And of course, if you flip them over, you do get a little blurb about Batman. And of course, you get one about Spawn. And they're done very differently. This one is done how all the other DC figures that I've collected so far are done. And this is done in a different, completely style, like for Spawn. And of course, it tells you, you know, the same old, same old. We know how Bruce Wayne became Batman. We know how Spawn became Spawn. So those were cool. And also, as I mentioned previously when we were looking at the box art, how wonderful that back artwork was, you actually get this with it. You get a very cool display piece of Spawn and Batman together. And I'll definitely be using this for my screenshot for this video. It's very cool. I don't know if there's anything on the back. Oh, there is. Excellent. That is just a cool background. Maybe I'll use this side. So it's very cool that this is included with it. I mean, I think this is marvelous artwork. So very cool. And again, once again, you get those skulls, demons, whatever you want to call them, on the backside. So besides that, they do come with a couple accessories, so we will go through them first. We will start with Batman. So Batman comes with an extra set of hands, which are one gripping hand and one punching hand. And of course, those just pop off at the wrist, and you plug in the new ones. So nothing too exciting there. And finally, he does come with a, I guess I shouldn't say finally, but he does come with a Batarang. It's just cast in all black plastic. You know, kind of a boring one, but also a very large Batarang. So just wanted to show that off there. And finally, he does come with kind of the trademark DC stand with a single peg hole that you can, you know, place him on. So very cool. Moving on to Spawn now. Spawn comes with this like huge bastard sword that is just insane. I mean, it's like got a bottle opener on one end. I don't know. It's crazy. Maybe Malbolga's beers need to be opened with that thing. I don't know. Of course, you got the green eyes there on the hilt at the skull, and then you've got some red wrapping around it, and then of course the this little ball or symbol on the end looks like it might be a skull itself. And of course, it's the same on both sides. Got some nice texture effects on the blade, and yeah, very cool. And then finally, truly finally, we get this display stand. And much like the cardboard picture we had, you have all these skulls, and there is a slot on the back for you to put, I'm assuming, either the trading cards in, or more likely you can probably, and we'll just do it. Well, we'll do it when we accessorize, but I assume you can put that Batman Spawn picture or the background with all the skulls right in there. I'm guessing it looks like it's the proper length. And this is just a cheap old plastic, but it's cool. It's a nice little additional accessory to have to kind of spice up this figure 2-pack. So we've kind of went through everything. Let's take a moment to cut away. We'll accessorize the figures a little bit, and then we'll do some comparisons with some of the other McFarlane Spawn and Batman figures. Okay, so I got Batman and Spawn accessorized. I did put the poster board on the back of that display. And honestly, first thoughts of looking at it, I thought it would be cooler than it actually is, because Batman and Spawn are so damn huge that they're bigger than the display. So it actually, you know, if you do some film trickery or some picture trickery and, you know, shoot from an angle, it's going to look very nice. But just looking at it dead on straight, these figures are just way too big, especially because of the capes. Because of the way the capes are, they just make it, they go so wide. So I'm a little disappointed in that, but it's okay. Something else I note, you see Batman, I did put the Batarang in his hand, and I gave him the grippy hand to hold it. The two other hands that Batman comes with do not match up with the Batman gauntlets he's wearing. So what do I mean? I'll show you. These are actually the hands. The other hands that are in the set are actually the hands that come with the Michael Keaton Batman from the new Flash movie. So here is the punching hand that was in the package, and here's the hand I removed. And as you can clearly see, this one's got the Keaton gloves, and this one is just, you know, flat. There's no texturing like in the Keaton gloves. So right now my Batman has a Keaton glove on and his default one, and these are just to show you the difference. So that's very interesting. I don't know if that is a factory mess up or if that's just the way McFarlane wound up going. Now, I assume that was on purpose because they were casting these figures in the factories close to the same time or producing them, and they just said, hey, run some more hands from the Michael Keaton Batman and stuff those in the package with this guy. So I think that's very interesting, and it kind of, you know, you're not going to notice, like in this case, because I have the hand turned away from the camera so you can't see the backhand, but it's going to bother me knowing he's got two different style gloves on. So another little nitpick about the figure set. And of course, Spawn looks great. He's got his big old sword. I'm a little disappointed that he didn't come with some alternate hands as well. But, you know, it is what it is. He looks great. Again, the biggest thing I can see about these figures so far is the capes being so large. It really reduces the playability. So, with that being said, let's and I'll show you real quick. This just pulls right out. It just sets in that tray. It's nothing complicated by any means. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out this tray, and I'm going to scoot Spawn and Batman I'm going to give them a little bit of room. And as you can see, I put them on their stands as well. And I'm going to move in the one of the more recent NECA Mortal Kombat spawns, so you can see a good comparison of those two. Might have to set him back a little bit since he doesn't have his stand. So you can see that spawn. And then, of course, I wanted to bring in a Batman as well. And this is the recent, one of the more recent Batman Nightfall figures. So let me try to see if I can get everybody in here. Man, I tell you, that Batman cape for the Spawn Batman 2-pack just gets in the way. So here's a and let me readjust my camera so you guys can see them all better. So as you can see, there's a lot of variation in these two Batman figures. This one is much, much, much larger. I mean, now granted, I do have this Batman with his knees bent, so let me go ahead and make sure, take off the stand, and let me bend that Batman a little more straight. Oops, there went his batarang, but that's okay. Because this is kind of my favorite Batman right now. This has always been my favorite style Batman, so the Nightfall Batman I really do enjoy. And so let's just try to straighten him up a little bit so you can get a better idea. But even then, this Batman is huge compared to this one. Now, even, they don't really share anything. This is a much slimmer Batman in the legs and in the torso, and even in the arms, I think, versus this Batman that is just a massive Batman. So there's a comparison of those two. And then moving over to the two Spawn figures, they are actually closer in size. They feel... Try to move him out here. Again, that cape is beautiful, but it just gets in the way. I want to make sure you can see all this. Let me move the Batman out of the way. And then I'll slide them back so you can get a better idea. So I would say this is more of a true-to-life Spawn. Like if Spawn actually came off the comic book cover and, was in an alley in your city, he would look like this. Versus this one, which is done more in a classic Spawn. It's very smooth. Now, I do have the other Spawn from the Mortal Kombat line that's more similar to this one. Looks kind of more true to life if it was a real character. But these two are closer in size than the two Batman, so it doesn't bother me. I like both for different reasons. This kind of strikes me more as a Spawn earlier on in the comic book series, whereas this is the Spawn that's, you've gotten about 50 issues into the comic, and he's, he knows how to handle his powers, and he's just a lot more dark. But I love both these figures equally. Actually, I'm having a hard time deciding between the two which one I like more, and I'm probably going to stay with this one just because I can bend him. He bends easier with what he has because of that cape being so much more smaller. But this one definitely looks cool with that sword. Who knows? I might wind up taking this sword and giving it to this Spawn. And of course, the only other difference is this one's kind of got the classic red in it versus this just black and white in the bodysuit. But yeah, so those are very cool. So let's get the non-Spawn and Batman, they're not part of this 2-pack, out of the way, and let's go back and let's have some final thoughts on these guys. So ultimately, I think this pack, if you like Spawn and you like Batman, of course pick this pack up. $50, it's right in the ballpark where it should be price-wise. I don't know if it's everywhere. I know you can find it online. I don't know if it's if brick and mortar is going to carry it everywhere. Like I said, I found this at GameStop, so I picked it up. And I did get $10 off of it, so I don't feel nearly as bad post-purchase, because this actually just cost me about $40. But yeah, there's a few things I want to gripe about once again. And again, number one's the capes. They're way too big. Batman's huge. He's almost bigger than Spawn, which in my brain just shouldn't be a thing. Everything's oversized. The cape's oversized. The batarang's oversized. The cowl's oversized. Batman's oversized. Spawn, on the other hand, is a fitting Spawn. He's wonderful. I like the way he looks. I'm a little sad that the cape, once again, hinders the articulation. But again, he's a very cool Spawn, and I'm glad I picked him up. So, will these guys stay in my collection forever? Probably not. Batman, I don't even know if I'm going to... pardon me. I don't even know if I'm going to showcase Batman. I like the outfit. I just don't like how big he is. And I really think because of that cape taking up so much space that I'm not going to have a good place to display him. Spawn, on the other hand, may or may not get displayed. I'm just going to have to kind of sit on that and decide. But what do you guys think? What do you think of this 2-pack? Is it something that's an easy pass? Is it something, hey, you remember the Batman Spawn team-ups in the 90s or even the more recent one and you're like, definitely want to pick this up? Let me know in the comments below, because I'd be really interested in knowing if this is something you were on the fence about and this video either made you say yes or it made you say no. But speaking of that, if you could leave a like on the video, it really helps out my channel. You know, I do all these reviews because I enjoy it. I enjoy talking with you guys, and I enjoy purchasing figures and giving you my opinions on them. So hitting that like button helps a lot. Also, if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe while you're at it. We just did a live stream, my first live stream. It was so much fun. We had a great old time for about an hour. We talked toys, and I gave away all sorts of prizes. And if you were one of those people on the channel, you had a good chance of winning something. So I'm going to be doing another one of those once we hit 1,000 subscribers. So we got about 250 to go. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I can kick off another live stream and do another prize giveaway. But all that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm Mark. You've been watching Coffee with Toys, and I'll see you later.